The Components of Gray Literature by Renee Pascual Assessed. Agenda. What is gray literature? Significance and value of gray literature. The types, formats, and providers of gray literature. And the utility, the value and drawbacks of gray literature. What is gray literature? Gray literature refers to research that is either unpublished or published in non-commercial form, such as issue papers, fact sheets, government reports, etc., produced by organizations outside of the traditional commercial or academic publishing and distribution channels. This is the information provided on all levels of government, business, academics, and industry in electronic and print formats not controlled by commercial publishing. For example, publishing is not the primary activity of the producing body. Most of the produced gray literature is of high quality and often considered as the best source for up-to-date research topics that are current, such as COVID, poverty, etc. Significance and value of gray literature. Gray literature is an essential source of information and useful because of the uniqueness of the contents being published. The reason is that commercial publishers ensure they make a profit on the materials they post, and that is why they often overlook niche research areas that serve a smaller city or population. Gray literature wants to prove the significance of speedy distribution, in-depth analysis, abundant amounts of data, and its usefulness when one needs to search for information in emerging or less popular research areas. It will not pass through the potentially time-consuming process of peer review undertaken by commercial publishers that makes quicker turnaround time for the dissemination and sometimes more current than commercially published information. While the medical fields prefer traditional publication methods, other areas like disaster management or emergency preparedness usually favor gray literature. The types, formats, and providers of gray literature. The types of gray literature used by academic researchers are reports, such as annual, research technical projects, etc., policies and procedures, regulatory data, conference proceedings, papers or posters, government reports and documents, such as white papers and working papers, dissertations and theses, patents, technical specifications and standards, and evaluations. Providers of gray literature are civil society or non-governmental organizations, government departments and agencies, private companies and consultants, healthcare provider organizations, academic centers and departments, public health agencies at all levels, such as local, state, and national. The utility, value, and drawbacks of gray literature. Gray literature can provide information not found in industrially distributed literature, reducing distribution inclination and encouraging a more adjusted perspective on the proof. Because of its full scope of arrangements and degrees, gray literature is frequently a rich wellspring of evidence utilized in methodical surveys and meta-analysis. Because of its different crowds and organizations, it can introduce a vast test in a systematic quest for proof. The advantages of including gray literature may far exceed the expense in time and assets expected to scan for it. It's significant to remember for an orderly survey or proof of audit. A consideration of gray literature search producers procedures could provide a substantial segment of a useful study. It recognizes what gray literature and what it can provide. By deliberately scanning for this data about the examination theme, it could provide a better and thorough picture. It is essential to look at the unpublished data relative to its distribution predisposition. By not having a total picture, quite possibly lead to security in danger. Remembering a wide range of scope of arrangements for a regular audit may improve the survey's discoveries and reduce the possibility of distribution inclination. Gray literature will provide a feeling of setting with the inquiry being reviewed, especially with the absence of agreement about the exploration of question or the mediation setting that may influence the outcome, or if there is missing access to proof in business distributions. Drawbacks of gray literature. Gray literature has its downside. It could be time consuming when searching for it, requires more web crawlers or various destinations when hand searching, and with impressive volume or results. It could be improved monumental, some requirements such as date range or language limitations on the hunt to restrict the extent of the pursuit. It's likewise conceivable to lack critical proof from inside gray literature, since a differed target groups and purposes can hardly make it to get, or copy proof that is distributed in business distributions afterward. There is no acknowledged best quality level technique for directing thorough assurance is missing in gray literature and minimal explicit direction accessible for performing gray literature look. Gray literature may not be arranged to meet as far as possible a reference necessity of scholarly or business diaries, adding likely inconsistency to the sort of records that must be distinguished and inspected by the scientists. As gray literature, it is not distributed in business, peer-reviewed distributions. There might be an impulse to barring gray literature totally from an audit or not use data found in gray literature in clinical or scholarly decision making. Distribution in peer-reviewed articles is some of the time considered an essential pointer of value ailing in the gray literature. Gray literature is a significant wellspring of data relative to its uniqueness and the substance of what was distributed. Business distributors are expected to get benefits on the distributed materials. This specialty research is often disregarded that serve the smaller population. Gray literature can now be again more current than the data that is financially distributed. Gray literature is an essential resource because of its vast wide range of data that are essential for the students to utilize in participating with the course. These are crucial tools. These resources can be used for systematic reviews and meta-analysis, which are considered significant for the dissemination of evidence and will provide assistance with the decision making. Thank you for watching.